Fraser, obviously, we talked earlier about Abigail Eden. What is the importance of her release as a hostage for Joe Biden, his administration, and for America at large?
Well, 4-year-old Abigail really has become an unwilling symbol of this war, especially for people here in the United States. She only turned 4 on Friday. She was 3 years old when she was taken. That was after her family were killed by Hamas on October 7th. Joe Biden gave some more detail about her harrowing ordeal, running away from her mother who'd been killed and then cowering in her father's arms when he was shot by Hamas as well, before she managed to run next door to a neighbor's house where she was then taken hostage along with the whole of that family as well. An unthinkable ordeal for a 3-year-old to go through. Now, she was held for 50 days by Hamas in Gaza. She is now in Israel and being checked over by the Israeli medical and teams and authorities before eventually being reunited with her family. Now, she is a real symbol of a wider thing that Joe Biden is trying to push for here. We know that Joe Biden spoke to the Emir of Qatar on Saturday. We now know that part of that discussion with the Emir was to get Abigail included in this next batch of hostages. We know there are 3 Americans, or there were before Abigail was released, 3 that were thought to be released in this first wave of hostages. 2 of those are now still being held. They are meant to be older women, not children, but there is a real sense here that is Hamas holding on to those 2 remaining women because they could use them as some kind of leverage. That is something that has been discussed in the media here as well. They maybe could see that holding these 2 Americans could be Hamas's greatest chance of securing an extension to this ceasefire, which is due to expire at the end of this coming Monday.
And you mentioned the ceasefire set to end. Joe Biden, clearly, we heard him speaking there saying he wants that ceasefire to last as long as possible. That's in some contradiction to what Benjamin Netanyahu was trying to say to his troops in Gaza today. He paid a special visit saying that he wanted a victory ultimately, and that probably means extending any kind of fighting. Would you say that there's a bit of contradiction between Israel and America's position here?
Well, I would say that Biden has been very clear in what he's wanted for a long time. He's been in constant contact with regional allies and has constantly said that he wants this truce to be extended. They are pushing for this framework that they say works to be extended. That price would be 1 day's extension for 10 hostages released, which would also obviously include the 3-to-1 Palestinian ratio of prisoners who would be released by Israel. But it also vitally sees more aid trucks getting into the Gaza Strip. We know that over 400 trucks, according to Joe Biden, have now entered the Gaza Strip since this ceasefire has been in effect, and we've seen those, of course, hostages coming out on the other side. I will say as well, Israel's stance, at least on the senior administration level, at least not Netanyahu, does seem to have softened slightly from when this truce was first announced. At first, they said it would only last for as long as, you know, the troops, the hostages were still being released. That position has somewhat softened in recent days. However, Netanyahu is scheduled to discuss things with Biden on Sunday. Joe Biden said that there's a real sense that all the players are looking for a way to end this so that the hostages are released and Hamas are no longer in control of any portion of Gaza, saying that he wants this truce to continue as long as people are coming out.
And hoping for calm across the board. Fraser Jackson there joining us from Washington. Fraser, thanks so much for that latest update as well.